I'm my friend Enoch. So how long have you been doing sales? When did you start?
I started doing sales when I started here at actually 3 months ago. October.
3 months ago. So you've been doing sales for 3 months.
Yes.
So now, when you first started, how was it? Was it easy for you, or was it a challenge?
It was very challenging because I'm very young. Just turned 19 in January, and I just graduated high school back in June. So the only real work experience, real life experience I've had was really just McDonald's and the trampoline park. So not much real world experience besides that. So it's very different.
So this was your first sales job, and I mean, damn near your first job. So you
Yeah,
had a
anything
couple of
professional.
jobs. Okay, got you. So what's your favorite part about sales so far?
Favorite part about sales is how much of a challenging game it is for your mindset. It's very challenging. It's very it requires a lot of resilience, and I feel like I'm a person who that's where I really master at. I'm not a person that gives up when it gets tough, but a lot of people are. And I feel like a lot of people go through the struggle. They get 99% there, 99% of the way there, and then the last 1%, that's when they quit, right? But once you get to that 1%, once you learn you can just put in that extra 1% effort, that's when you'll find, the success you were looking for, the whole 99%.
Okay, I do find that to be true myself. And now, the toughest part for me is trying to help, like when I'm trying to help people around me, is getting them to see the light without them having seen it before.
Yeah.
So like, let's say somebody were to start and maybe considering giving up, and you see something special in them, what would be your advice to that person who hasn't seen the light, hasn't really seen the promised land when it comes to that, to keep pushing when really there's no proof or evidence to them that there's something to be reached at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
What would your advice be to somebody like you on day one, maybe who is unable to really get that 1% out of themselves?
Yeah, it's definitely a great question, right? Because I feel like I find myself in that same situation to where, I actually, I wasn't seeing the results at first, right? But, I always knew that there was a light, there was, more to come. Right, and I feel like the best way you could go ahead and help somebody out and just help them see that is either by showing them by example, by you going ahead and showing, getting the results. That way you can show it to them like, hey, if I can do this, why can't you? Or show them by other people's examples like, hey, if somebody can do this, you're just as talented as them. You bleed the same blood they bleed. You breathe the same air they breathe. Why can't you just go ahead and do the same thing? So I feel like social proof or real world examples is really a good way to get through to somebody by helping them see the light.
I have to agree with you, and I think Axe Elite does a really good job of that, because
Yeah.
you're constantly seeing
Yeah.
everybody's results right away. You're celebrating with people. Now, when it comes down to, you're saying mindset, and how has Axe Elite specifically helped you develop your mindset and kind of teach you a little bit more about pushing through those tough times, getting that last 1%?
Yeah, it's definitely a great question. I feel like the biggest thing that Axe Elite, helped me in the mindset switch, per se, is, being accountable. In like the real world, a lot of things are just given to you. You get a lot of things without really having to work for it, without really having to earn it, right? So, Axe Elite doesn't just teach you, that you have to earn your things, you have to go and work for them, but no one is going to go out there and earn that success for you. So, rather you fail, rather you win, or, you do neither, it's all up to you. Everything is tied to your name. So, whether you succeed, rather you fail, it's all up to you, right? They put you, I feel like this is really a system to where, you can win if you want it bad enough, right? You're only gonna win if you choose to, you're only gonna lose, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Good work, Elvis.
That's Elvis. Now, the last question I have for you, why are you doing this? So like, who is it in your life, or what is it outside of here that drives you every day?
Definitely another great question. I feel like my purpose is, definitely my family, right? And definitely just not wanting to let them down. I feel like I have high expectations, on my dad's side of the family, because, growing up without my actual father being my grandfather, because my actual dad wasn't around, he set a high standard for me. He was always that role model for me. And then, when he passed away, I really had no guidance, right? But the one thing I knew was that I had to make him proud, right? And then on my mom's side of the family, right, they're a little less fortunate, right? They don't really have anybody in the family that's really you know, made it so far, right? So I want to be the person to, you know, change that trending topic of my family.
I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. This is actually the first time that I'm interviewing somebody here, so
Yeah,
thank
I
you so
appreciate
much.
it.
And yeah, man, I think it'll be great.
Thank you.
All right.